Our President Barack Obama hides an ugly truth. But every truth, my friends, every truth has a way of clawing its way out of the darkest corners, regardless of how much you try to bury it. Today, gather round, dear listeners, as we embark on an eye-opening journey to uncover the truth about one of the left's most celebrated figures, Barack Obama. Let's strip away the veneer and discover who he really is. We begin with the astonishing rise of Barack Obama, a man who catapulted from being a relatively unknown state senator in Illinois to the Democratic Party's presidential nominee in a mere 4 years. But here's the crux of the matter, folks. There are suggestions, and dare I say evidence, that a small, influential cabal of Democratic donors in Chicago played a pivotal role in his meteoric ascent. This begs a question that should give us all pause. How much influence does money truly wield in our political landscape? Let's not forget the media's handling of Obama's background during that fateful 2008 presidential campaign. The mainstream media, it's clear as day, failed in their duty to adequately investigate and report on Obama's early life and beliefs. Instead of rigorously questioning and seeking answers, they dismissed legitimate inquiries as mere conspiracy theories.
So you're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party, actually.
Yeah.
That's what you're really saying.
Yeah. Well, I was in town for a few nights, but yeah, I was definitely looking to party. And
Did you make that clear to the driver?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there was no misunderstanding.
How
between you.
how direct were you about that?
Extremely.
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 Okay.
Yeah, there was no doubt what I was looking for.
Okay.
And he picked me up at my hotel in Gurnee and drove into Chicago, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. It was literally that casual.
Had you ever heard of him?
No.
Did the driver know him?
Yep. The driver definitely knew him because the driver said that he was a friend.
Interesting. How would the driver be friends with Barack Obama?
I only found out later, dealing with a reporter from Bloomberg News, that apparently the limousine company had been doing business with Tony Resco, that at the time was somehow affiliated
Was
with
in
Barack
Obama's
Obama.
orbit.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting.
Now let's dive headfirst into the bombshell, my friends. Larry Sinclair, a man who shattered the silence with his explosive claims of encounters with Barack Obama in 1999. He didn't just allege sexual encounters, he went further, suggesting drug use involving the future president. And what makes this whole ordeal all the more controversial is that Sinclair didn't slink away quietly. No, he went public with his story, he signed a sworn affidavit, and he even took a lie detector test. But brace yourselves for the shocking part. The media, including outlets like Politico, reportedly didn't give Sinclair's claims a fair shake. Instead of investigating these extraordinary allegations with the seriousness they warranted, they rushed to judgment, labeling them as absurd without conducting any in-depth inquiry. Now, my dear listeners, isn't it our right to ask why Sinclair's claims weren't taken more seriously? Were they too explosive to handle? Or did they fear the ramifications for Obama's image?
In his view, Barack Obama liked the same kind of partying you were looking for.
Yep.
Okay. So sex and drugs, in other words.
The sex part I wasn't so sure about until, of course, you make your move, but it became obvious very quick. The coke part I thought was interesting because of the way that I had brought it up.
So I'm stepping on your story. So you pull up, and I apologize. So you pull up to this bar. The driver is basically scouting some dude for you to hang out with.
Correct.
There's this guy, Barack Obama. Have you ever heard of Barack Obama?
Never. Okay. Never. We're having drinks. I mentioned the fact that I could use something to wake up. I was extremely exhausted. I had no idea that he was a representative in the Illinois House. I had no idea he was in politics. I just knew that he was supposedly married and at the time was going through some issues with the marriage.
Now, my friends, I want you to take a moment and really let this sink in. We're not just talking about allegations of Barack Obama using crack cocaine here. We're delving into claims of infidelity, of cheating on his wife Michelle, all within the confines of a limousine. And what's more, folks, this isn't a one-time occurrence we're discussing. It allegedly happened not just once, but not twice. Twice!
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time. That much I'm absolutely certain of. And I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
So you performed oral sex on Barack Obama. You did.
I felt that it was a game for him. It was like, okay, what am I going to get out of it? Or is there something I can get out of it other than just, the sexual part?
Right.
And lucky for me, I wasn't going back to Chicago anytime soon, so it really didn't matter.
So you were left with a bad taste in your mouth.
Something, yeah. Yeah.
Did you talk to him again?
I did not. In fact,
And did you have any idea, even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was?
I had no idea who he was until I'm sitting in my house in Tequila, Nayarit, Mexico in 2004, and he walked on that stage.
In Boston?
In the DNC convention, and I literally hit the floor. I just hit the floor.
So let me ask you this. How does all of this square with the image that was painted of Barack Obama during his time in office? He was heralded as the favorite Democratic president, the embodiment of honesty, and the embodiment of progressiveness. But when the truth starts to rear its head, it appears that even the most celebrated figures aren't immune to the twisting and bending of facts in the name of political allegiance. And what's even more astonishing, dear listeners, is that Larry Sinclair didn't just recently emerge with these startling allegations. No, he stepped forward quite some time ago, yet for some reason his story fell on deaf ears. The leftist media, in all its power, simply brushed it aside, as though it were a minor inconvenience, rather than an earth-shattering revelation.
Late 2007, because I had seen a lot of these college kids talking about how thrilled they were, how there was a candidate who was completely honest about his entire life, his drug use, what he did when he was in school, the constant back and forth. 1 minute is, yes, I did cocaine when I was younger, or no, I never did cocaine, but I smoked weed. So I just simply pointed out that all I was asking was, look, why don't you just simply come out and say, I did coke and I've done it as recently as 1999. Just tell the truth. Put it out there and be honest and let it stay as the truth rather than this back and forth. Never did hear anything back from them immediately. And to understand that the Barack Obama campaign was not in any way, shape, or form going to acknowledge anything or come out about anything. And he had made it clear that he had known Barack for quite some time.
Before we part ways today, my friends, I want to leave you with a call to action. The truth is a powerful force, and it's our collective responsibility to seek it out. Don't accept narratives at face value, especially in today's world of media spin and partisan divides. I urge you to dig deeper, ask questions, and stay informed. Let's continue to challenge the status quo and demand transparency from our leaders. Together, we can uncover the truths that shape our world. So, my call to action is this. Stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop seeking the truth.
Obama has a wife and kids, and he's telling America what a great family man he is. Is that, or maybe you've seen this a lot, what do you think of that?
Well, in 2008, I made it clear that Obama was having marital problems in 99, and everybody in the world said that I was crazy, didn't know what I was talking about. And yet, 6 months ago, Barack Obama comes out and tells the world that exactly what I said was the truth. In 1999, he and Michelle came very close to divorce. Really. 15 years later, what I say is the truth, but 15 years earlier, I'm a liar and a fraud. It's interesting how things eventually come out. But yes, believe me, I've known guys that were completely happily married that will screw around with another man on a weekly basis and think nothing of it.
Here's a question that should give you pause. If Larry Sinclair were indeed lying about Barack Obama, why hasn't the former president taken him to court for defamation? It's a legitimate question to ask. Sinclair has remained resolute in his claims for years, and one would think that if they were baseless, Obama would have swiftly addressed this in a legal manner. Yet that hasn't happened. Thankfully, my dear listeners, we have individuals like Tucker Carlson who are willing to put in the extra hours, tirelessly working to bring the truth to light. In a world where facts can sometimes feel like a mirage, it's those who dare to ask the tough questions, those who wade into the muddiest waters, who help us uncover the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. As we draw the curtains on today's episode, I implore you to carry this thought forward with you. The truth, my friends, the truth is an unyielding force. It never ceases its quest to reveal itself. Today, we've only scratched the surface of a story that challenges our perceptions. We've shown you one facet of it. It is now your duty, dear listeners, to question, to seek, and to never cease your relentless pursuit of unvarnished reality. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Red Alert episode today. We've delved into the depths of controversy, dissected the narratives, and shone a light on the issues that demand our attention. But remember, the alarm bells we've sounded here are only the beginning. In a world fraught with challenges and uncertainties, it's crucial that we remain vigilant, informed, and proactive.